Lot is how other people view us, and us take that to heart. Right? That's when we put other people before ourselves and opposed to God and how He sees us. So how do we start to love first? Is by letting go of Lot. And a wise man, he said, I love this quote, "The greatest tragedy in life is not having blindness. The greatest tragedy is to have sight without vision." I just thought that was so profound. And when you're in that position, like I said, when you're in that flurry, when you're in your situation, taking those strikes, you're so zoned in, you really don't realize that all you can have to do is take a step back, or as Jana said, shift. Because sometimes shifting is so easy. We just enable ourselves. So that's how we can put ourselves first in the position to love. We have to let go of Lot, or you will never experience the true love that's there for you. The true love that we all know as the agape love, right? It's very possible. If I asked, I'm going to pick on you too, because I know y'all married, right? And I'm going to pick on you. Because men are always picked on, right? So yeah, all men get is the big piece of chicken. So, so tell me, why do you love your husband?
Why do
Yeah,
I love
just throw out some why. Just tell me.
Interesting. Why do I love him? Well, I do believe that God sent him into my life, and
Sure.
I love him because of who he is and the things that God has placed in his heart for not only me, but for others around us.
Sure.
And I love him because he loves God.
That's awesome. You love him because he loves God. Any other reasons why you love him? This is the unabridged version.
Because he's my friend, because he get on my nerves sometimes. But, I mean, really. I mean, we often talk about love, and we talk about the flowery things, but love is love in spite of.
Sure.
And the things you go through that is not always sweet.
Definitely.
That when you wake up in the morning, whether it's that morning breath or whether it's that you get on my nerves, I love him because of all of him and who he is and what God has placed inside.
See, that's a beautiful thing. And when we talk to other, when we ask, if I were to ask you or whomever, why do you love a spouse? And like she said, you know, there's these things about him, right? But there's still a certain utility that she gets from that, right? Because he's a God-fearing man, that still gives her a sense of security. She gets something from that, right? If he's a provider, the things that you do. And as individuals, sometimes we attach our love to the utility that we get from other people. The reason I bring that up is when those things fail and they falter, our love for that person sort of ebbs and flows as well. So the agape love, you know, when we're talking in the Latin sense, that complete selfless love, almost a martyr type of love, it is when you're giving that love and really not looking for anything in return, right? So when we start to love, because that's so many people, they're scared to love again. And they're scared to love again or to give the love initially is because they feel that they're sacrificing. But they're really not. We're really not sacrificing if we're properly loving. So the second point is when we love and when we start to love and when we give, it has to be completely selfless, looking for nothing in return, or we're going to put ourselves in position not to want to love again. Right? So secondly, we're going to let go of Lot, the thing that's holding us back. And when we actually do choose to love, we're not going to expect anything in return. It's going to be completely selfless. It's going to be that agape love that God gave His only. Right? That's what we're trying to do. Now, one of the things that I had this coach in high school. His name was Coach Lee Grubbs. I mean, I love this guy. He changed my life, trust me. This very dashing, debonair guy that you see before you. It was a rough shell. But in all honesty, and I went to Ladue Horton Watkins, go Ladue. And at the end of my freshman year, I actually had a perfect attendance. I didn't miss one class. Okay, and I loved science, so I aced science, and I loved history, and I aced it. The other courses, I failed. At the end of my freshman year, I had a 1.6 GPA. Perfect attendance. Did you hear that part? I was like doing other things in class. I was there, but I was like masterminding all types of plans in the class. They just rented me a desk. You know what I mean? But you know, there was this coach, like I said, there was an English teacher, Mr. Heidi, and my wrestling coach, Lee Grubbs. And they saw a little something in me. And when, before I would go out on the wrestling mat and wrestle, he'd stop me, right? He said, Purdy. He called me Purdy because we all had names, and he called me Purdy because I would get real mad when people hit me on the face, and I like beat them immediately. So he was like, "Hope they hit you in the face, right?" I said, "Purdy, win, lose or draw, I want that guy to look at you and say, who was that guy?" That's what he said. He was like really raspy voice, and he really meant that. Win, lose or draw, he wanted that guy to say, who was that guy?
Make me cry.
Right? Right. He didn't want that guy to ever want to wrestle me again. Right? So I thought it was really funny, you know, and we'd all, you know, do our thing, and who was that guy? We had a little chip on it. He would say, who was that guy? You know? Well, later in life, you know, you fast forward to recent years, about 4 years ago, I'm having the epiphany as we all have. And the connection I made in life and for us and how we love is when we interact with people. If I meet her for a second, or meet you for a minute, or meet Jamie for several months or a year or a decade, when you leave, when you exit, when you remove yourself from that person's life, do they scratch their head and say, who was that guy? Who was that guy? See, if we start our day in the morning and we realize what we're thankful for, we realize we have 107 things to give, don't we? But when we start our day, what we're truly thankful for, we realize that we have abundance of it. And when you have abundance of something, you're more likely to give it, right? But if you start your day, I gotta go to work, No, you start your day calibrating yourself and saying, what am I truly thankful for? And you start thinking of these things. Then you really feel good about it. You say, you know, life ain't that bad. So now you start your day and you go out into the world and you're sort of full. Right? So even imagine if my glass is full and I'm walking through Times Square and people bumping me, right? And I walk 2 blocks, at the end, I can still quench my thirst. However, if I have half a glass and I walk through Times Square and people bump me, I'm not gonna have nothing left to drink. I'm gonna blow up. Right? So you have to put yourself on full. Here's something perfect. I need you to come up here, please. Ma'am, can you please join me at the front? Sir. Well, I picked on you, so it's okay. Ma'am, can you come up to the front? Okay.